Before we dive into the darkest story ever told, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment. Because what you're about to hear is so intense, most people won't believe it's real. Now let's step inside Diyarbakır Prison, the place many call the world's torture dungeon. The lights flickered, the hallway shook, and Marcus Hale, an American investigator from Denver, froze as he heard the sound. A scream, sharp, sudden, echoing from deep inside the concrete tunnels beneath the old Turkish prison. He wasn't supposed to hear that. No one was. Because the guards said this part of the prison had been empty for years. A second scream cut through the dark. Then everything went silent. Marcus raised his flashlight, heart pounding. He took one step forward, just one, when a heavy metal door behind him slammed shut by itself. Cut to black. Hours earlier, none of this had happened yet. Rewind to the moment Marcus first arrived in Turkey. He was a calm, quiet man from Colorado, known in U.S. crime circles for his sharp mind and clean case files. Detectives in New York, Los Angeles, and Atlanta respected him because he never backed down from the truth, no matter how hard a report looked. And the report about Diyarbakır Prison was the toughest one he had ever seen. Human rights groups in Washington had stacks of evidence, old case files, witness statements, blurry photographs, telling the same story. People hurt, people silenced, people lost. The timeline pointed hardest to the 1980s military rule. That's when the prison, according to survivors, became a nightmare. Still, nothing could prepare him for the first moment he saw the prison walls. They rose above the dusty road like a giant stone fortress. The air smelled dry, hot, heavy. Several Turkish officers stood waiting, stiff and uneasy. Their faces didn't match their polite words. That alone made Marcus write a note in his mental checklist. Possible motive for deception. Keep observing. Inside was worse. The sound of boots hitting the floor echoed forever. The old fluorescent lights buzzed like angry bees. Doors clanked shut behind him one after another. He noticed scorch marks on one wall, like something had burned there a long time ago. A calm moment followed as he studied the strange marks, but that calm quickly turned into a shiver of worry. Why hadn't anyone cleaned this place? Why did every surface seem to hide a secret? The warden, a tall man with a stiff jaw, led Marcus through the halls. He kept saying, "Those stories are exaggerated. We run a clean place now." But Marcus had spoken to survivors back in Chicago, Dallas, and Seattle. They all described the same things: forced confessions, painful beatings, nights where no one slept, and a silence so thick it felt alive. As Marcus walked deeper inside, he felt the walls tightening around him. The air grew colder, narrower. He passed by a cell door, scratched so hard the metal bent inward. He paused, ran his hand over it. The grooves were deep, too deep. Someone had been desperate. A calmer moment followed. The hallway opened into a small courtyard. Nature had reclaimed part of it. Weeds curled up the walls. A broken bench lay tipped on its side. For a moment, it felt almost peaceful. But then Marcus noticed something odd. A group of guards standing near the far corner, whispering and glancing his way. When he started toward them, they scattered like they didn't want him to see whatever they were hiding. Another note in his mental case file. He continued following the warden, but the farther they walked, the more the prison changed. The paint peeled. The floor cracked. The lights dimmed until only one or two flickered overhead. The smell shifted too, old dust, rusted metal, something like forgotten fear hanging in the air. Finally, the warden stopped at a rusted gate and said, "This area is closed. No need to enter." His voice was tight, too tight. That was all Marcus needed to hear to know this was exactly where he had to go. He stepped through the gate, and the moment he crossed the threshold, he heard it. A scream echoing from the darkness ahead. A real living scream. And then another. Before the warden could react, Marcus ran toward the sound, deeper into the black hallway. He had no idea what waited in the shadows, but he was about to find out. Marcus sprinted toward the scream, his footsteps pounding through the narrow hallway. The air felt colder with each step, like the darkness itself was breathing. He didn't look back. He didn't slow down. He just followed the echo until it cut off, fast, sudden, like someone had slapped a hand over a mouth. That silence was worse than the noise. It felt heavy, final, dangerous. He stopped at a small steel door. It was half open, shaking on its hinges like someone had forced it. Marcus pushed it wider, and the old metal groaned. Inside the room, his flashlight swept across the walls, and he froze. Dozens of scratch marks covered the concrete. Names, dates, lines carved in clusters, like tally marks counting days or something else. The beam caught a small chain bolted to the wall. The links were broken at one end, ripped apart by force. But there was no one in the room. Calmer breaths came as Marcus leaned closer to the scratch marks. Some were old, faded into the stone. Others looked recent, sharp, fresh enough to flake under his fingers. He wrote a quick mental note. Timeline inconsistent. Evidence suggests activity in closed zone. Possible witness still alive. But how? The warden claimed this wing had been empty for decades. A sudden shuffle echoed behind him. Marcus spun around. Just a guard. Young. Nervous. Practically shaking. "You shouldn't be here," the guard muttered. His American accent surprised Marcus. Southern, maybe Georgia or Alabama. "They don't like people walking the old halls." "They?" Marcus asked. The guard swallowed. Hard. He didn't answer. Instead, he kept glancing down the hallway, like he expected something or someone to appear from the dark. Marcus noticed a faded bruise on the man's cheek and a cut near his eyebrow. Signs of struggle. Signs of fear. When Marcus took a step closer, the guard stepped back. "I heard screams," Marcus said. The guard stiffened. "No. You heard the pipes. Old pipes. They make strange noises." His voice shook. He didn't believe his own lie. Before Marcus could press him, a voice echoed down the hallway. Not a scream this time. A command. It was the warden. "Step away from that room." The calm shattered. The guard jumped. Marcus straightened. When the warden reached them, his eyes looked different. Harder, colder. He blocked the doorway and snapped the steel door shut with one heavy push. "I told you this area is closed," the warden said. "Then why am I hearing people inside it?" Marcus asked. "No one is inside." The warden's jaw tightened. "You must stay with the approved tour. It's for your safety." Safety. That word didn't fit this place. Not even close. Marcus followed him back through the long hallway, noticing every crack, every dent, every tiny sign that someone had been here long after the prison declared the wing abandoned. But the pacing slowed now. The tension softened. Outside the hallway, they returned to a brighter section of the prison lit by high, dusty windows. Birds circled above. A strange calmness washed through the space, and for a moment Marcus let his breathing slow. He needed the calm. He needed the reset. Because something was off, way off. Case files from Washington had warned about strange patterns of missing prisoners, mysterious reports that vanished from Turkish archives, and survivors from cities like Chicago and Miami who gave matching statements about abuse, torture, and voices echoing at night. But none of them mentioned screams in an abandoned hallway. The calm shifted again when Marcus stopped at a small open yard surrounded by old stone walls. A group of guards stood around a crate. They froze when they saw him. One of them quickly shut the crate lid, but not before Marcus saw what was inside. A stack of old files, brown from age, edges burned. Case papers. Evidence. Real, physical evidence. Marcus walked toward them, but the warden grabbed his arm. "Do not," he said quietly. That tone told Marcus everything. These guards weren't protecting him. They were hiding something. Something big. Sunlight hit the yard. Dust drifted in the air. For a moment, everything seemed slow, calm, almost peaceful. But beneath that calm, Marcus felt it, like a storm building under his feet. Every guard's eye followed him. Every whisper stopped when he passed. Something in this prison was alive, and it didn't want him here. Marcus stepped back, pretending to drop the subject. He let his breathing stay steady. let the tension stretch thin. But inside his mind raced. Those files, those screams, that guard's fear. It was all connected. He needed proof, real proof. Something he could bring back to New York investigators or Washington analysts. Something no one could cover up. As night fell, the prison changed again. The sounds shifted. The air cooled. The guards locked more doors than usual. Marcus walked past the main hallway windows and saw something strange. A shadow moving across the closed wing. Fast, human-shaped. Then another. Then, a loud crash from deep inside the prison shook the floor like thunder. Guards ran. Radio screamed. Someone shouted for backup. Marcus turned toward the old hallway, eyes narrowing. Something had broken loose. And whatever it was, it came from the abandoned wing. Marcus didn't hesitate. The crash echoed through the prison like a warning shot, shaking dust from the ceiling. Guards sprinted toward the main block, yelling orders in Turkish, their boots slamming so hard the floor trembled. But Marcus turned away from them, toward the abandoned wing, toward the scream, toward the truth. His flashlight clicked on with a weak buzz, the beam slicing through the dark as he moved fast, low, silent, like every detective instinct he'd learned in Dallas and Los Angeles kicked in at once. The hallway felt colder now. The air tasted metallic. As he stepped deeper, a calm moment settled, almost peaceful. The only sound was the echo of his own breath. The silence felt wrong, like the prison was holding its breath with him. But that calm didn't last. A dull thud rolled from the far end of the hall. Another thud. Then a dragging sound. Marcus followed it to a half-open doorway. The same room with the scratch marks. Only now, something else was on the floor. A small cloth pouch. He crouched and opened it. Inside were thin metal tags, each stamped with a prisoner number, each darkened with age. Evidence again. Real, historical evidence that connected the old reports from Washington, New York, and San Francisco to the actual walls around him. He pocketed the tags, planning the next steps in his mental report. Collect proof. Confirm patterns. Identify motive. His heartbeat steadied. He felt calm, not safe, but focused. But then he heard a soft sound. A breath. A human breath. Coming from behind the wall. He pressed his ear to the stone. Someone was there. Someone alive. Before Marcus could move, the wall panel shifted. Just a crack. A single eye appeared through it, terrified, hollow, frantic. The person behind the wall whispered in a trembling voice, "Help, please." Marcus stepped back, stunned. Someone was trapped inside a space that shouldn't exist. His mind raced through every case file he had studied. Survivors describing hidden rooms, punishment cells, secret holding areas that the official reports always denied. And now he was staring at one. He whispered, "How many of you are in there?" The voice shook. 3, maybe 4, we don't know anymore. Marcus tried to pull the panel, but it didn't budge. He whispered again, "Who put you here?" The reply came in one trembling breath, "The warden." A heavy click echoed down the hallway. Marcus froze. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming straight toward him. He stepped back into the shadows as the warden appeared at the far end of the hall. His silhouette filled the narrow corridor, and in the dim light his eyes looked colder than ever. Behind him, 2 guards followed, tense, silent, gripping batons. "You went somewhere you shouldn't," the warden said. His voice didn't echo. It sank. Heavy. Final. Marcus didn't answer. His brain raced through every possible escape route like a detective mapping a crime scene. Left turn blocked. Right turn, dead end. Behind him, a hidden wall with people trapped inside. No easy way out. But he saw something. A cracked ceiling beam above the warden, barely hanging by a rusted bracket. A quiet moment passed. Marcus made his move. He grabbed a loose metal pipe from the floor and slammed it against the nearest wall. The sound exploded through the hall like a gunshot. Birds scattered outside. The old ceiling shook violently. Dust rained down. Then, the beam snapped. It crashed to the ground between Marcus and the guards, exploding into splinters and choking dust. The guards stumbled backward, coughing, shouting. The warden tripped, grabbing the wall for balance. Marcus ran. He bolted down the hall, turned left, then right, following the map he'd memorized earlier. He burst through a side door and into the open courtyard. The night sky glowed faintly above, cool air hitting his lungs like a shock. The path to the outer gate was clear, just one long stretch of cracked concrete. For a brief second, calm settled again. He could escape. He could expose everything. He sprinted. Behind him, alarms screamed to life. Guards shouted. Radios crackled. But he didn't stop. He kept running until he reached the outer gate and froze. The gate was open, wide open. Standing beside it was the young American guard, the one from earlier. His face was pale. His hands shook, and he whispered, "Go. Now, before they find another way to trap you." Marcus stared at him. "What about the prisoners in the wall?" The guard's voice cracked. "You can't save them from inside, but you can expose them from outside." Marcus nodded. One sharp, silent nod. Then he ran through the gate and into the night, the prison shrinking behind him like a monster retreating into the dark. By morning, he would be in contact with investigators in Washington, New York, and Chicago. By noon, the world would hear what he found. And by nightfall, Diyarbakır Prison would no longer be able to hide its secrets. It would finally be known for what it truly was. A dungeon, a warning, a place where truth had been buried, until Marcus Hale tore it back into the light.